Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. And as you can see, I have two little bundles of charms in front of me here. So my husband picked these up cheap from Value Village, and he decided to take the risk and see whether or not they're authentic. So let's take a closer look at them right now. So each of these bundles were $12.99, and then he had a $10 coupon for making a donation. So he didn't spend a lot of money, so he is hoping that some of these do work out. So right away, I know that this is not an authentic charm. And as you can see, the craftsmanship isn't there compared to Pandora. They never even created a charm in this style. So I'm just checking to see whether or not they even tried to replicate a hallmark, but I don't see that they did. But I do think I see a faint 925 there. So it might be even possibly a silver charm. Now this charm here looks like a popular spacer that Pandora once had, but if you look at it from this angle, you can tell it is definitely not Pandora, because you see how it just kind of comes in at the core, and Pandora doesn't do any designs like that. And here is the hallmark on this charm. So it is 925, but I'm not sure what those letters are. It almost looks like is that a P or an FNA? But I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. So this one is definitely not a Pandora charm. This next charm is the Smooth Puffy Heart, and it's one of Pandora's original charms, and I don't have this one in my collection. I think Pandora recently re-released this one for their 20th anniversary. But here's the hallmark on top. You can see it says 925 and then the ALE. So being that I don't have this one in my collection, if you know that this is an authentic stamp and if it looks correct, let me know in the comments below. So this charm does need some polishing and a little bit of love, and the camera is making the scratches look way worse than it is. And next is this Murano here, and it's the white Murano with gray polka dots. So I have this Murano in pink, and if I take a look at the glass, I don't know, this other one, the white and the gray, just looks like it's a little bit too opaque. I think it should be a little bit more clear where the color is at the core of the Murano, and then the polka dots are on top. And even if I was to touch this Murano, there's just a little bit of a different feeling to it. So here's an up close look at the hallmarks, and right away, like at first I was like, oh, they're pretty close, but then look at the difference between the R and the A over here, like the spacing right here compared to right here. I know this one for sure is authentic. And then if I was to flip them over, this is where you can definitely see the differences between the size of the letters. So I know this one is authentic, and it has the S in front of the 925. Whether or not this one here is one of like a previous version, but it really does look different. And it almost has like a matte appearance to it, which I don't think is quite right for this Murano, but leave me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this one. The next charm is the Teapot, and to be honest, I think this one looks and feels good. I don't know, I used to have this one in my collection, and then I rehomed it, I gifted it, and I think it looks pretty good. So you can see the hallmark there is a little bit worn off at the bottom, right here. But yeah, I don't know, for some reason I've got a good feeling about this charm. And then we come to the suitcase. So it's got the Paris, the Eiffel Tower on the one side. And here is the other side with the little Denmark symbol. And I believe that's supposed to be a palm tree, I'm not sure. And then here's the hallmark. And this one is a little bit different than others that I've seen a picture of. So the stamping does look correct on it. The bottom right corner looks a little bit different size than the others. So this one I'm going to be comparing some photos online and taking a look at it. It feels okay, and it definitely has like all of the appearances of being authentic, but I'm not quite sure that stamp is in the right spot. This charm here, I really have my fingers crossed that it is authentic, because I've had this one kind of like on the loose wish list of pre-loved charms. It's the Onyx Drop, I believe it's called, or the Onyx Dangle, but it is beautiful, and I've always wanted this one in my collection. I just think it's so pretty and kind of vintage looking. Here is the hallmark right there, and the hallmark looks correct. As you can see, it needs a polish, as all of these do. And it almost looks like, I don't know, like a little flower petals coming down over the onyx. You've got those textured dots that kind of wrap around. It does look worn down a little bit. It's definitely a pre-loved charm, but it's so sweet. I've always wanted this one in my collections. And the last charm in the bundle is the I Love You cube. And this one I do have in my collection. There is the gold heart right there. And then you can see the stamping. It says, I love you. And I'll show you the hallmark. So the hallmark looks really faded. It's got the ALE. You can just barely make it out, and the 925. And then you can see the gold heart a little bit protruding there. So this one I do have in my collection. I have it on my Lion King bracelet. So I'm just gonna pull it off that bracelet and let's take a closer look at them together. So this is my Lion King bracelet design, and I just have my I Love You cube just kind of floating in the back of the bracelet here. So I'm just gonna take it off. And these heart clasp bracelets are really easy to add and remove charms. I have a silicone lined clip at the end of this bracelet. And then because it doesn't have any threads right here, usually the charms just slide off, and I'm always really careful to make sure that they slide off in the order that I want to put them back on. So this one here came from Value Village. This one is mine, and it is definitely authentic. And right away you can see the difference in size. Whether or not this is even gold, I do not know. But look at the stamping. So you guys, like, sometimes when you buy Preloved and people say, oh, but the stamp looks correct. Anybody that designs and makes these fake charms, they know what they're doing. Like, to me, those letters are almost bang on to the original one. And here's the word love. So the sizing is correct for the letters, but the spacing is a little bit different. Plus the original one is a little bit deeper engraving in the charm. And then here's the eye, of course. So yeah, it's very obvious that this one is fake. So out of this bundle of charms, these are the ones I know for sure are not authentic. I'm really curious how they did the gold heart. I'm guessing plated. And then this bundle here, I'm kind of questioning how authentic these are, just because this glass just looks a little too opaque. And I've seen this hallmark in different places on different suitcase charms. So if you could help me out with the suitcase, I would greatly appreciate that if you have that one in your collection. And this last little set, I'm feeling pretty good. I think these are authentic, but if you experience differently, please let me know. So once again, here are all the charms that he purchased. And like I mentioned, he only paid about $16 for all of these. So I do have my hopes that 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 of these are authentic. But please leave me a comment below and let me know your thoughts on them. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.